States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Couple things we need to add to the agenda. Recognition of the Seymour Pink Day. Seymour Pink Day is this Wednesday, October 16th. That is in Travis. So that doesn't cover it. Is that better? Okay. The recognition of Seymour Pink Day. Seymour Pink Day is Wednesday, October 16th. Occurring the third Wednesday of October every year since 2009, Seymour Pink Day celebrates our nonprofit's mission to unite a community in the fight against breast cancer. On this day, we encourage everyone to think pink. School systems, businesses, organizations, friends, and family wear pink and decorate pink to promote breast cancer awareness and support those in the fight. It is a day for everyone in our greater community to come together, united in our unwavering to support of those who've heard the horrible words, "You have breast cancer." It is a day to promote women's well visits, mammograms, and ultrasound screenings, and to advocate for more preventative screenings. It is a day to honor our loved ones and pay special tribute to anyone we have lost to this disease. Our fight against breast cancer is ongoing, and Seymour Pink has been a significant part of it, raising over $5 million since their humbling beginnings. They are committed to standing alongside the warrior women and men with breast cancer, and we will not stop. Let us come together this Wednesday in Seymour Pink. You never know whose lives you may change. So please remember to wear pink tomorrow. Okay. On that, is there any public comment? Public comment going once, twice, 3 times. Okay. Can I have approval for the minutes for the October 1st, 2024 regular meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from October 1st, 2024.
Motion by Trish. I need a second.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Fred Stanek. Discussion? Any approval? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed? Abstains? Chair votes aye. Please, notion, abstentions from Pat Lombardi and Bob Finley. The vote passes 3-0-2. Thank you. Discussion and possible action regarding the Business Relief Fund. We have received a check from a business wanting to help other businesses affected by the storm, not helping residents because the residents have not everything, but the residents have donations set up. This is to help specifically businesses. It was a $20,000 check. And it is up to our board to see how we want to disperse this $20,000. Do we want it to split it and divide it evenly by those businesses that our emergency management director, Chris Edwards, gave us evenly, or do we want to disperse it to those that were affected harder than others? That's up to this board to decide. Kurt or Attorney Bertula, if you want to give any input on this.
Well, the donor, I take it, didn't specify in any way how it was to be dispersed. So it would fall within your discretion. You may want to put something up on the website and have people apply, so you know the number by which you may be dividing it, because not every business is similarly situated. Some might have, sustained less damage than others. Some might have other resources, and there are some that may need a helping hand more than others. So I leave that up to your capable hands of trying to figure out how you want to disperse it. But
I would think we want to look at each individual's damage and what they're going to be accountable for, and then I don't know how difficult this is going to be, then take a look at a percentage to give each of them based on the amount, because there's something very different of someone having, I'm just going to throw numbers out there, $50,000 they're going to be accountable for, as opposed to someone who had less damage and might be accountable for 8,000. So maybe we can get an idea of what personal accountability is going to be, and then
If I could, through the chair.
State your name.
My name by now is Chris Edwards, I think. 1 First Street, Emergency Management Director. The donor, he wanted to stay anonymous. His donation was to the businesses that were in Claritas Village that were damaged. But we do have different levels of damage in there. I know for a fact one store already sold. I don't know how we're going to go. I know one store wasn't really damaged, so there are levels of different destruction there. But I don't know if it should be on us to decide. I think it should just be an even split, because I think we're going to get into a war if we do it that way. But that's
well,
just my
I think
opinion.
it's even if, I'm sorry, I think it's even if you look at how much the damage is and then decide a percentage, so that the percentage provided based on what they have to be accountable for is divvied up that way. Because you don't, if you divvy it up evenly, and I'm not saying this would happen, but there's the potential for someone to get exactly what they need to fix, or maybe even a little more than, if you're not looking at a percentage wise of it based on what they're going to need to fix, solely because of the flood.
Okay.
So is the criteria that it was within Claritas Village, or can it, because the way I just heard this now, it opened up to
It's the
other-
businesses just in Claritas Village.
Okay, because the way I first heard it, it was more
Yeah.
everything, okay.
Yeah, it was just excuse me, I won't get my number wrong, but the 14 that were affected. Actually 13, because they didn't include Ocean State into that, because they were looking at the small businesses, not the big box stores.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Do we, because none of them had flood insurance,
That's
from what I
correct.
understand.
Correct.
And some of them might have more means than others. I'm not saying to use their own funds, but I don't know, maybe someone has insurance. So I'm talking about what personal funds are going to need to be used by each of these businesses.
Okay.
And then,
Maybe
I
we
know it's
create
a little more
tiering- Maybe we
complicated,
create a
but-
tiering, there's maybe 3 tiers, and based on the type of damage, because we'd be able to know what type of damage, I'm assuming. They'd have to apply for this, maybe log whatever damage that is, and then we could tier them into 3 tiers and then break up the money that way.
Okay. I could look into that tomorrow. I have most of the damage, because most of the damage was submitted through me. I'll say probably quarter of the stores. And that was the lower end of the plaza. I've been dealing with hands on hand, so I kind of know what they lost. And then the damage gets less worse as you come up towards Ocean State. So
Right.
that's where your criteria would come in. And one business did sell, and that was in the upper plaza next to Bushy Man. I'm not sure when that sale is taking place, but she did sell. So I'm not sure what she would need at this point, if anything. But I
I
can
know
check
it's
with
not
her.
the simplest answer, Chris.
yeah,
but-
it's
'cause
hard.
Dividing it equally monetarily is the easiest thing to do, but that's not necessarily fair,
Okay.
right? Because someone could be putting out a lot more based on the damage and what they
Yeah.
have to cover than somebody who's
So I
not.
can come up with a
Try and look like
criteria
a,
and
like
bring it back
criteria,
to you.
like assess tiers, I mean,
Okay.
and take a first run at it, and then we can tweak it from there.
Okay.
And
And I can bring it back to you November 6th.
November 6th. Yes,
If that's
because our
okay.
our meeting is a Wednesday due to election day.
But unfortunately, I hate making everybody wait, but it probably is probably the most reasonable way to do it versus.
Yeah, I mean, even if we have them wait a little bit now, it'll be a gift at the end, because they're going to need it at the end too.
Yeah.
Because right now FEMA stepped in, Small Business Administration stepped in, so they're floating along. So this will be something nice at the end to get them up.
Okay.
Because we're looking at the end of December, so I don't have an update for you tonight on all that, but we worked everything out with Eversource to get it pushed along. So we're hoping by the end of the year they'll be up and going.
And I think you'll get less pushback doing it that way. When
Okay.
they see it's the same percentage getting contributed.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you'll have that ready for,
I'll get the
November
criteria
6th.
down, break it down. I'll look at what they lost and try to break it down per criteria at levels. I'll work with Kurt on it, and we'll get something back to you to vote on for November 6th.
I won't be here, but thank you for doing that.
Yeah, because we're going to want to treat this like ARPA funds
Yeah.
and actually vote So that way it's clear in the record. That way there's no issues with the auditors or anyone else. They'll see the money coming in, the money going specifically out. That way it's very transparent.
That's why I'd rather have it fixed numbers versus kind of all over the place.
Yep.
Paper trail.
Do you agree with that?
Agree.
Okay, great. All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Discussion and possible action regarding the formation of a charter revision commission. Item number 6, at the last meeting, the Board of Select Persons asked for a timeline for the charter revision so that they may review it. The timeline was sent out. Does anyone have any questions on it? If not, then we will start appointing a committee at the November 6th meeting. Once again, remember that meeting is moved to a Wednesday due to Election Day. We do have items to add to the agenda, but I figured we at least get through this part. Number 7, discussion and possible action regarding the property tax abatement for the George A. Hummel Little League. In your packet is a letter from the George A. Hummel Little League. Every year, they ask us to abate their taxes as a part of the land use agreement between Dr. Casagran and George A. Hummel, that as long as George A. Hummel is playing there, their taxes would be abated. The board actually has to vote on this every year. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Bob Finley,
Seconded.
second by Pat Lombardi. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0-0. Thank you. Okay. Discussion and take possible action regarding the potential upgrade of the Seymour Fire Department fleet. Chief Edwards is here to talk about this, along with Commissioner Chris Miller, and Oskowski.
Assistant Chief Oskowski.
Assistant Chief Oskowski. Guys, stop it.
Chris Edwards, Fire Chief, 1 First Street. Did you put all the stuff in the packet? Okay, so I submitted proposals for 2 new fire engines. I was asked to do when I took over a truck replacement plan, so we got that in, turned it in. I believe you guys voted on that a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago. So we're at the next step now. So I'm looking to replace 2 trucks that are 26 years old, one at Citizens, one at the Hill. The one down at Citizens is in pretty rough shape. We're just throwing good money at bad right now. It is in service, but it'll be going out. The pump needs to be redone at about $10,000. Just waiting for final numbers to come back. So I'm looking for the board to move on this. It was on a capital plan that you guys voted on a few months ago, to move on it to see if we can get these trucks purchased. These trucks are 3 years out from the date we signed the contract. First payment is due when we receive the truck within that I'm saying it's probably about 3.5 years now. That's how far we're out. Just to give you a heads up, I started with $65,000 in my maintenance budget as of July 1st. It is now October 15th, and I am down to $18,000. Rescue truck that is 11 years old, I just put about $8,000 into Rescue 17 up on the hill. That truck, with this new plan, will be either getting refurbed into an engine or sold. We just put $19,000 into that truck. That truck is currently, that is a 2010, so it's 14 years old. And our newest truck that we have is a 2015, which is coming up on the 10-year mark now, which we bought as a demo used in 2019. So
What was planned maintenance versus what was, because you said you're into your budget by that much.
yeah, so Rescue 17, the 19.5 that we spent, that was not budgeted.
Okay.
Clutch fan blew apart, took out the radiator, the intercooler for the transmission, and the wiring harness. The pump on 11 is not maintenance. The packing's bad and stuff. The gates are going bad, so that wasn't that. And the rescue that they have now, they found a crack in the frame where the cabinets are. They're welding up, so we had to bring in a third-party welder to certify that. And it needed brakes and that's all maintenance stuff.
So how much of the dollars were unbudgeted? though? I got
Right
the
now,
19, I
you're
heard
probably
another
looking
10.
at probably 25,000 that was not budgeted for it was unforeseen when we did the budget, so.
Okay.
I know we reviewed and approved this, so I don't have an issue, and I'm just gonna say I'm getting old. So can you refresh my memory as you're looking at your long-term plan? I wanna be sure, because we're talking about 2 trucks, right? So
Yeah.
for Seymour, for long-term plans, so that we are not having to purchase multiple trucks at one time, are we looking into like a replenishment
Yeah,
program,
so,
and what is that looking like, so we're
this-
not getting multiple trucks?
yep, so this
in the
starts
future.
our plan out, so, well before me, when they bought 4 trucks at once, we're at the end of that line, so now we're gonna be out hopefully every 7 to 10 years replacing it. So,
1 truck?
1 to
every
2
seven-
trucks,
Do you
With
think you're
the
the police
cost-
department with getting all 2 trucks a year?
but our trucks last 24 years, so.
Different.
So we're trying to get to a 7-year replacement plan. Every 7 years, we're replacing a truck, and that truck lasts about 20 years.
I'd like to
roughly.
see us get to a point where we're just replacing 1 truck at a time. So
We'll
that's-
get there.
That's why
It's
I'm
just-
asking.
Yeah, right, we just need to start where we are. We'll get there.
catch up
You
first.
guys gotta catch up.
The
So-
cost isn't going down, it's just
No.
going up,
Right.
so
So
we need
part
to.
of our plan as chiefs and commissioners we came up with is we're buying 1 manufacturer. So, history lesson. Both houses years ago, they bought what they wanted. They get a truck committee. Right now I have 5 different makes of trucks. That's gone. We're buying 1 vendor, 1 make of truck. You cleared on 1, you cleared it all. So now, proof's in the numbers. Citizens is the busier company. We do 400 down here to 200 calls up there. So now we can rotate trucks as well. So if the truck down at Citizens is getting high mileage, we could ship that up to Gray Hill, move that truck back down, and you get more time, more run time off it. A lot of departments do that, but we can't do that until we have the same make across the line and get all the tools the same. So like right now, Gray Hill runs a different set of extrication tools than Citizens does. It's a mix of stuff. We're trying to straighten out and get everything streamlined so we can move equipment around and extend the life of it. But we're just at the starting point now.
So you're not streamlining standardization.
Yeah, so you're
Everything.
Training on different types
Yep.
of trucks.
So we'll be getting rid of, well, we'll figure out what we're gonna do for tools down the line, but, so Citizens has Hearst tools that we do car extrication with. Gray Hill has Amcus. One of those will go away. We'll stick with 1, so we don't have to move equipment. If we take a rescue truck off the hill or an engine off the hill, it could come down fully staffed, fully equipped, and that truck can go up there. They know how to drive it, they know how to pump it. We're just not there. We're trying to get there.
I'm just gonna ask the proverbial, what's to keep this from changing with someone new that comes in, or, 10 years from now, new leadership at the fire department to say,
You guys.
we're not, okay.
I can only put the plan and keep the plan as long as I'm here. Once they decide I'm done and I'm out, the new chief's
No,
gonna
I
have his own
understand that, but
plan.
that's why a strategic plan is so important and should
Yep.
be sharing with the town strategic plan so that it's in there and
They-
this board's
they got
aware,
it.
so
Yep.
that we can say that change isn't gonna happen
Right.
because we understand
Or
why
they
it
have to
needs
go
stay.
justify why they would change it.
Yeah.
And
right,
this,
fair.
your board voted on my truck replacement plan, so you voted on it to take it as that, so it should continue. So if somebody comes in and says, hey, I want X, Y, and Z, the board of select person should say, hold on, we voted on
Here's
this.
the plan.
Here's the plan we voted on in 2022, just throwing a date out there.
But you're
So-
trying to move to the 1 truck every 7 years as opposed to
Yeah,
2, because this is not gonna be sustainable.
So it'd be 1 truck every 7 years. That'll give us about a 20 to 21 year lifespan on a truck. Instead of pushing it out that 26 years where you keep throwing money at it. It's just, we're throwing good money in the bag right now. We're trying to catch up.
And just one more question, when you're doing your budgeting for because as your truck's getting older, do you have like a method where you're adding more into your preventative maintenance and unscheduled and scheduled maintenance into that number? Because it seems like as trucks get older, you're gonna have to have more maintenance budget.
My maintenance line, I kept the same last year to try to keep money down. I thought we'd be all right. My preventative maintenance, which is a different line, I did go up. Don't quote me, Selectman Finley, but I want to say it was like 3% on my my maintenance, and
Okay,
that
so
was
you
just due
have-
to labor costs and stuff.
Okay.
So I do have two different line items. One's preventative, all of our services, and one's just strictly maintenance and breakdowns. And that preventative maintenance is also our ground ladder testing, our hose testing, nozzle testing, all the stuff we got to do for OSHA and NFPA comes out of that line. And we went up about 4% last year due to labor costs.
And we need to be very cognizant of changes that are made by NFPA and other organizations that are associated with fire services because changes happen very rapidly.
Yeah.
And I'll just use a truck as an example. They might say a truck is good for, as of today, this date, good for 20 years or 25 years. That standard could change. It could go higher, it could go lower.
Right.
So we have to be cognizant of that.
So right now, the standard that Selectman Lombardi is talking about is an NFPA standard, and it's at a 20-year mark for frontline apparatus. And then it bounces up to, I believe it's a 30-year mark for reserve pieces. So you can have an older truck in reserve that you bring up to the front line while that one's being fixed, because it's a temporary fix, but
Yeah.
frontline pieces are supposed to be changed out every 20 years. I don't believe in that rule because that should be department specific, correct? So we're doing 600 calls a year where the city of New Haven's doing 3,000. Okay, I can understand that. We can get more than 20 years out of our trucks, especially with a rotation process, with moving trucks around. We have first due, second due trucks, so we swap those. We'll move them around so we could take the mileage and the runtime off of those. It's just never happened before. It's something that we're going to look at, but I can't do that till I get to that point.
Understood.
If I may, what action are you looking for us to take this evening?
There's a lease proposal or I'm looking for permission to go ahead and set a special meeting, I guess, or your permission to go ahead and move forward with the two trucks, one for Great Hill, one for Citizens.
Was it a lease or a purchase?
I gave in two options, a lease and a buyout one.
Right.
So what would happen is when we sign the contract, we just need to sign which one we're going to do, whether it's the full buyout or the lease. And then when the truck comes in, we're going at 3.5 years. I got my dates right. About 1,100 days is when we got to have the first payment. So now we got time to budget it and go. So I mean, it would tentatively be up to Kurt and the board on how you guys want to do it.
Kurt, did you look at the finances for that one?
Yeah, there's a couple ways to do this. If the lease purchase option, which would require no referendum, would be 9 years at $387,324. Estimated first payment in fiscal '28. The other
I'm sorry,
option,
could you say the number, 387,000 what?
$324, 67 cents. That would be a 9-year lease.
Yep.
Anticipated first payment in fiscal '28. The other option would be to go to referendum, which would be November of '25. At that point, you could spread the payments out over the life of the truck. But you're 13 months away from that. So each truck, that 387, 324 is the cost for the two trucks.
Annually and through the life of what we're paying, is it equal? I would think the lease is more. Am I right?
No, you'll probably pay a little bit more if you bonded it out because you'd be spreading the interest out over more years, depending on what the rate would be. But again, it's about fitting within the debt service. Now, don't forget, you have projected $317,594 coming on for the ladder truck, and that's anticipated to come on in fiscal '27. So if these both were to hit in '27 and '28, you'd have a spike in the debt service of about $704,000 over those 2 years. But to the point of what we're trying to accomplish, and going back to the questions that were asked, there's kind of 3 bites of the apple. You have the truck plan, the strategic plan, and the capital improvement plan. So what has been talked about by building the stuff into the budget is going to be addressed by those 3 things. And it's going to be substantially harder now to break away from that because you have a truck plan that's been approved. You then have a strategic plan that's approved and reviewed, and then ultimately a capital plan that's approved and reviewed and approved by you guys. So using just this ladder truck as an example, that 317, when that rolls off in fiscal 34, in reality, you can take that 317,000, just reprogram it for another truck and start this process.
Right.
Or I shouldn't say start, but continue this process of now buying these trucks, having the money built in instead of pulling the money out of the capital. Just keep it there and just buy another truck.
And,
That's what should be done to keep the debt service
Correct.
even.
Correct.
Correct.
right, and we leased that,
That
we did not purchase, right?
that one was a lease purchase that you guys did.
Is that what you're talking about this evening? Was it lease purchase?
You have two options. You could lease purchase it, and that would be 387, 324 for 9 years. I mean, those numbers may change a little bit because again, the quote we got was a while ago, but it's going to be in that ballpark. Or we take it to referendum, which would be November of 25, and at that point, then we can go out to bond for it.
And we couldn't get it on we couldn't get it on the ballot for November of '24, right?
No, it's too late. The only other time you could do it would potentially be with the first budget vote, but
Well, we don't really need it until 3 years, so we can do it in 25.
well,
But if we
I
do
think
it
it's a
in
timing
25
thing.
I think if we
It's a
do it
timing
in
thing.
25, I think it's gonna push out when we get the truck though, because it takes 111 days to get a truck, right?
You had 11 months.
1,100 days from.
Yeah, you had 11
time of
months to
signing,
that,
pretty
or
much.
13 months to that.
13 months to get a truck.
Because if
No,
you
it's
went the
3 years to get a truck, 13 months to go to referendum.
to referendum, yeah. So in theory, they could order the truck the day after election day in 2025. Because
I
again, you're
think-
ordering it. We don't have to worry about bonding at that point. We already have authorization from the people. We'd sort out the financing. So that would be essentially 4 years from now.
So, I mean, I don't think this is a question of support because other items have already passed to support. It's logistically how we're going to do this because I want to make sure we make the right decision because it's not just fire trucks we have to focus on as far as debt service. We have a very old infrastructure, so we've got to focus on how those types of projects are going to affect the debt service as well. So I want to take a hot minute to figure out, I don't know if that's good, I don't want to really make you wait, but,
I mean, I could run different financing scenarios for the meeting on the 6th.
How long would it
Could,
hurt us if we waited into the 6th?
I don't know.
I guess
I
that's
mean,
a question for those guys.
Every day they just keep adding time on trucks. So, I mean, we're 3 years out. Even if we order tomorrow, that puts these trucks that we're trying to replace at 29 years old. I could tell you right now, engine 11 isn't lasting more than I'm asking. It's not going to make it much longer.
No, yeah.
It's 26 years old and it's had a hard life. So it was the main truck for a long time.
it's hard for me
So-
to think on how to handle
Okay.
this.
I
I
mean,
mean, not that I
at this
haven't
point,
been
we're
aware,
we're
I'm just
probably-
like listening and
yeah.
absorbing and I support it, but it's gonna be very tricky to make sure we do this the right way so that other items that we need to focus on the debt service for are going to be able to be supported because of our
we can go
old
down a fire
infrastructure.
truck where that's what's going to end up happening. I mean, I'm going to eventually have to take that truck off the road. For safety reasons, I'm going to have to, and then it's going to drop all of our numbers. It's going to drop all your ISO numbers. It's going to drop a bunch of stuff because we're down a pumper. Your water supply. There's a lot of numbers that go in to figure that out. But I can't keep that on the road. I mean, I'd be lucky if I could keep it on the road another 3 years. So.
could we get
What?
copies of the proposals for the next meeting?
Sure, I can email you. I can email them to you
I would
tomorrow.
appreciate seeing copies of them.
I mean, you could be creative. You could lease one now, put one to referendum next year, spread the trucks out with a year gap in between them. That spreads the financing out. There's a lot of different ways you can go. I mean, the trucks are needed. It's not a question of the
Right,
need of the
absolutely.
trucks.
There's
It's
no
the
di-
question
we're
of
not-
how do
Because
we
there's
pay
two,
for them.
You could take that.
It's
You
not the
stagger
best.
'em.
It's not the best scenario, but it's
Do you get any cost advantage of buying them both at the same time?
Yeah, you get a
I'm
2%
sure- Yeah, I'm
discount.
sure there's a discount with.
You get a 2% discount on each truck when you buy the doubles because they're twins, so everything
Right,
gets
they have a
punched the
good
same.
together.
With the lease option, you get so much put in escrow from the day you sign. I believe that number's around 200,000. And since we've started this, they've already gone up almost $150,000 in prices each truck since we started this project 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Every quarter they do they look at their prices and nothing goes down, right? So everything goes up. So they've gone up 150,000 in each truck. They've already changed the motor on us. The X12 motor that we run in our trucks, they don't make anymore. So that was a cost. So they went to a new motor. Everything changes day by day. So
I think it's important that we have all the facts in front of us in making our decisions. So I like Mr. Miller's suggestion that maybe put together some financing scenarios.
I turned in all the finance stuff. I don't know where it went. I turned it in.
No, we're not talking about that.
But I
It's-
turned in all the lease stuff. I turned in everything.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not
talking
that.
about how it's gonna hit our books.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit how it
So-
hits our debt services.
Right. And the different options of doing it.
If we, so just to be clear, I think everyone, and please speak up if I'm wrong, I think everyone here supports what we're doing, 100%. It's, sitting here though, we become aware incrementally about other things that we need to focus on as a town. And it's just very important that we take a look and make sure if we do this now and we don't have a choice with something later, that it's going to have to be something that's going to hit our debt service. That is going to very much affect our residents.
So is not having a fire truck. So
I-
I'm sorry, but I've been kicking this
I
can down
don't
the road for
disagree
3
with you,
years.
but it's not just fire.
I can't kick it anymore.
I understand.
Now it's becoming safety for my guys and the residents.
Right.
So it's something
And I'm
needs
not
to
trying to
done.
be difficult, but we can't put all our eggs in one basket either. We have to know we can afford what needs to be fixed in
But I'm putting all
town as
my
well.
eggs in one basket. I got guys driving a truck that's 26 years old. That's costing me a fortune to keep on. That's not even safe for the road. And I've been trying to get a new
I
truck for well
understand.
over
We're
a year.
talking about 2 weeks, so Kirk can
Well,
come back
that's
with a
fine,
couple
but if
of
the
different
price goes up another
financing.
50,000 2 weeks, I don't want to. Don't come to me. It's already went up 150,000 in 8 months on
Well,
both trucks.
Well, it's
I've been
not,
trying to get this done for
it's
8
not
months.
just fire trucks. We're going through the same thing with public works vehicles, okay?
Well, the whole plan that you
Right.
guys
It's-
adopted gives Public Works 2 new dump trucks.
Understand that.
Like,
I
understand.
understand, and I can hear your frustration, and I understand your frustration, but understand that we have to look at the debt service. It's gonna be Kirk getting us the numbers tomorrow or Thursday, I keep forgetting today's Tuesday, or Thursday.
but we've had these numbers. I've had these
It's
numbers.
for it's not the
It's not the
numbers
numbers
you
you
are.
gave.
I gave these numbers in. They've been working on these numbers.
It's the debt
These
From
ser-
aren't, these aren't the numbers you gave, Chris.
It's
That's
the-
that's not what I was told.
No, you're not hearing what I'm, it's the debt services and how it's going to be affecting, because
Yep,
other
I
things have
realize that.
happened.
Yeah.
Other things have happened, and there's other things that we're looking at down the road as to how we have to plan those things. So it's not saying that, no, we're not getting these trucks, it's just saying, okay, we have this truck, can we finance this one, go for financing on this one, and pay for this one? That's how they're looking at it, so it doesn't everything hit the books all at once.
I mean, I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but if all the data's gathered before 2 weeks, I'm not opposed to having a special meeting to meet again and look at
I
it.
agree.
I
Let's
agree.
schedule a-
Yeah, I'm okay with
But-
that.
The decision basically comes down to, do you want to finance it through referendum and wait a year, or do you want to lease purchase it? That's the
Listen,
decision.
at this point, I think that, yeah, if you're gonna ask that question that way. the way we
That's
did
what
these
this comes
trucks,
down to.
It seems like we should just finance it.
Lease finance it.
I don't want to wait a whole year
We
for
can't wait
2
a year.
trucks.
But that's your decision.
the
That's
decision.
that's what
If-
this
if
comes
it's
down
as
to.
clear as that, Kurt, then
But you just have to understand the ramifications of
We understand
the cost of lease
ramifications.
purchasing, paying over 9 years as opposed to 20, the impact to the debt service. And if everyone's comfortable with that, then the decision is straightforward. So,
But there's also the ramifications of us not getting the trucks and there being a bigger issue. I understand,
Yeah.
what everybody is saying.
Mhm.
I understand, and I understand what the ramifications are gonna be down in 2035 or 2028 when this happens.
Yeah, the first whack will probably be fiscal '28, and then the second whack will be probably fiscal '30, when the permanent debt for Bungay School hits, which will be somewhere probably between 875 and 925, depending on interest rates.
But it gives us the 3 years to
Plan.
plan.
In addition to what's gonna come off the books.
Well,
Right,
this is our debt service, so it's a descending model.
Yep.
But it doesn't descend. It's not designed to descend that quickly.
Right.
So.
Right.
Chris, what is the 2% discount per truck doing the dual? You said it's 2%.
It's a 2%. I don't know the
As they
dollar sign
go-
on
yeah,
mine,
so then we go-
but it's a 2% off the top number.
did the interest rates go down on the leasing too?
The feds dropped them. We did not do another quote writer because every time they do another quote writer, so the last one I gave you, that gets put onto the truck. So I didn't have them do another quote writer, but the feds did drop the rates. So I'm imagining that lease percentage has dropped. They had us at just over 4%. So if I had to take a wild guess, it'd be about 3, a little over 3 right now.
Yeah, I was gonna think 3 1/4.
3, 2.
Well, what is the board's pleasure? Because we have a lot on our agenda.
So again, if you're choosing to lease purchase, then that triggers obviously a process that the board needs to go through. But it doesn't require a referendum.
Does not require a referendum.
Right.
No. So we have to set special town meeting, and then the board would act in lieu of special town meeting, that type of thing. Yeah, the same path you followed with the ladder truck.
Oh, no, we have to make sure we didn't follow that same path of that ladder truck. 'Cause there was a couple extra meetings that we had to have because of that ladder truck.
Yeah. Which was the lease option, but they made us go to referendum anyways.
All right, so what is the board's pleasure?
We can't wait to go to referendum, so I cannot wait 13 months to go to referendum and then another 3.5 years on top of that. That puts the trucks at 30 years old. There's no way I could run 2 30-year-old trucks. I won't do it. I won't put my guys at risk, and I won't put my.
I understand, but I
My
mean,
house at risk.
And I know that you can't control this, right? But
Yeah.
this is to my point before. I don't want this to keep happening either, because every time the fire department needs a truck, it's kind of an emergency. And I get it, and I totally appreciate we're trying to make them go as long as we can, because they're really expensive.
Well,
But it's,
to your point, yes, it is an emergency. But remember, I've only been here 2.5 years.
and that's why
I
I said I
inherited
understand
this
it's not
issue.
you, but
Yeah, right,
the issue
right.
comes up
Right.
again and again, which is why I keep saying, with the turnover that happens, this becomes impossible for this board to really manage what processes are put in place and what the plans are, because there's so much turnover.
That's why First Selectwoman and Kurt made me do that truck plan. It was one of the first things I did, and had you guys vote on it. So when my time comes to be replaced, that it's there, and they have to follow it now because you guys voted on it.
Chief Edwards, we have Commissioner Miller here. I guess I could ask him that. How often do we vote on a fire chief? Annually.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask the commissioner, do you think that's wise?
I don't, I feel that a fire chief cannot start getting some traction going, and then a year later, it's, they're doing that, starting with someone new. So I think it should be minimum 5 years.
I'll ask for something another day, but I just, you're right. Every year it could be crazy. But
Something should be changed, absolutely.
It seems to me that, we're sitting here at this point, we have some questions in our minds. I'd like to see some more information. I'm going to suggest, as Tricia did, that we schedule a special meeting for one evening next week. It could be a fast meeting, half an hour, and we get more information.
I don't think that would, a meeting next week, I don't think that would change any schedule for special town meeting and everything else.
that wouldn't change anything for the trucks, correct?
If we wait another week, you mean?
Yeah.
at this point, no. I just can't wait 13 months or another 60 days.
I don't think that's what we're asking.
We
I
couldn't
think
do
it's-
anything until November 6th at the earliest anyway, because we'd have to set up a special town meeting. You guys act in lieu of. We can go ahead and do that, and in the interim, hold a special meeting for the Board of Selectmen to review and answer questions. That would not be a problem.
The only other option would be to forego the 2% order to one, and then do the referendum following year.
It'd be 4, yeah, but it'd be 4%. It's 2% on each. 2%. So you'd be correct, yes.
Probably
That's the
30.
only other option. I mean, just if we wanted to look at different options, that would be another.
I'm
option.
struggling here
Probably
because I want
30,000,
to
give or
jump and
take.
make a motion and support you. I'm going to be honest, but I also have information sitting here on how much other infrastructure issues we have. And it is unfair for me to say, well, I'm going to support the fire department, and however the debt service is going to be allowed for the other items we need to do and figure out how to pay for. That's unfair, because I'm sitting here for the town of Seymour and not just supporting the fire department, and that's my only struggle here, figuring out the best way. So I need to see some things in front of me, in supporting the 2 trucks, but how are we going to do it so that because I don't want you guys driving unsafe either,
If-
so.
From a debt service point of view.
If
Exactly.
these trucks were 8 months to a year out, I wouldn't even be having this argument with you. The
Yeah,
problem is the lead times that I can't control is 3 years.
Correct.
So that it just keeps kicking it down the road.
Right.
So it's, now we're talking, they're 26 years old now, problem that we inherited. Now we're looking at maybe 29 years old by the time the trucks even come in.
Right. So how
we're kinda-
quickly can you
so-
come up with some various data for us to get ahead of time, look at, and so we can schedule a special meeting?
You just pick a day next week. It's not a problem.
But if we did it wrong, though, we would be leasing 3 within this window of time. We'd be in lease on 3, the ladder and the 2 others, correct?
Yeah, you're projected to have payments from fiscal one payment from fiscal 27 to fiscal 33, and then this new payment from fiscal 28 to fiscal 36.
Why don't we just plan it for the 21st then? Monday, the 21st.
It's good for me.
Again, and all that is contingent on when trucks are built and
Right.
actually
No,
arrive.
understood.
But-
So Monday, can we wait till Monday? That's like less than a week.
Yep.
And-
But again, the special meeting doesn't change anything, because even if you voted to move forward now, you still have to hold a special meeting on the 6th and do all that other stuff. So meeting in between does not change the timeline at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Monday's good.
So Monday's good.
That's what I'm hearing all day long from everybody. So Monday's good.
Well, we'll make sure Monday's good. Can we do it Tuesday, please? Monday's my
have a-
wife's birthday.
The Bungay Elementary School Building Committee meets Tuesday evening. Trish and I would have a conflict.
All right, Monday it is.
No.
Let's make it quick.
What time, what is the earliest that people can meet on Monday? I mean, can we do it a Zoom meeting?
Sure. That's up to you guys. But again, if you meet Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, it doesn't change anything.
What time is your school meeting?
7.
So
I
then-
could do 6.
So why don't we make our meeting 6?
So you would,
Tuesday.
regardless of what day we pick, you still need to do a motion to set a special town meeting and everything else for November 6th.
All right, I'll make a motion to set a special.
Tuesday's the Board of Finance meeting.
We can do it at 6 o'clock though.
Okay.
Board of Finance is the end of the month.
Right.
End of the month.
You're gonna
22nd.
have to add that to the agenda and then make a motion.
Yeah, because it's not, I was
Set
just
special town
just gonna
meeting.
say that.
I need to make a motion to add to the agenda to set a special town
Make a
meeting.
motion to add to the agenda a special town meeting for November 6th
To consider a
to
lease
consider a lease of a potential.
To consider the lease
purchase
purchase of two
Of 2 fire trucks.
2025 C-grade Marauder pumper trucks. Get
To
that?
purchase 2.
Lease
to
purchase.
Purchase 2.
Lease purchase of
C
two,
Marauder,
Seagrave.
C-grade Marauder. fire
two
trucks.
2025
Two.
To
C-grave
Did you just say it? And I'm gonna
Marauder
say so moved.
pumpers.
So moved. Please, Mr. Stanek, let me just go. So moved. Don't make me repeat that.
I don't like the so.
Yeah.
2025.
25.
2025
Seagrave,
Seagrave
Marauder,
Grave
Grave,
Seagrave Marauders,
Marauder,
whatever,
Pumpers,
pumpers,
lease purchase.
lease purchase.
That's what I said.
You have to vote to add that to the agenda.
Yes.
That's what I just did.
I don't think there was a second.
No, I'll second it.
Second by Bob Finley. Discussion?
In the
All in-
future, I would like to see copies of the proposals for the trucks. We're not talking about a small amount of money here. We're talking about a lot of money. And I'm not finger pointing at anybody. I'm sure that you gave all that information,
Yes.
but we're the legislative body. We're the ones that have to make the decision. We should be looking at the paperwork also.
And it's
Thank
up
you.
to my office to make sure that this board has the paperwork.
No, we did get it the original time, because
We
I
did.
remember having
We
it in
did.
my deck, so.
I didn't think it was going to go this fast. So
Okay, I made a motion.
It was second by Bob
I
Finley.
seconded it.
Thank you.
Discussion was there. All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0.
All right, so now I can make a motion to have a special meeting on November 6th.
Yep.
Yes.
That's my motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Trish, second by Fred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, update report. Is that it? From the Bungay Elementary School Building Committee. Fred?
We conducted our first workshop and planning session with the public last week. I think it went well. The attendance was not as great as we anticipated. We've done a lot more quote-unquote advertising in the last week for a session scheduled for tomorrow evening at 6:30 PM at the school. There will be a tour available to people who want to tour the school at 6 PM. The architects, Antonazi Associates, I think did an excellent job with their presentation. And we had public input. We had two sessions where the public was able to give us input.
How many people do we get for?
10.
10 people at the?
There's a lot of, I really cannot encourage people to come out enough. I'd like people to see the school, tour the school, and hear what Antonazi has to say, speak to the members of the committee. And, you know, I fully support people are going to make their own decisions, but you can't really make a viable, good decision if you don't really understand what's going on and have your own peak. So please, please,
Yeah.
find some time to come out,
So how
even
do
if
we-
all
how do
you
we
do
get
is the
that
6 o'clock.
Note out. I know you sent the,
I did a code
You
red
did a
today.
code red.
So the Board of Ed sent out, I don't know if
A flyer.
a flyer
to the
We-
to
to
the
the students,
parents?
I believe.
Okay.
We posted to the parents. We posted it on our Facebook page. We posted it on our website, and I did a code red tonight.
And if you cannot come out Tuesday at 6 PM, please contact the Board of Education because they will make time at some point to make sure that you can see.
And there
The
will be
facility.
further meetings in the future
Mhm.
for the public to attend. And the public is always welcome to attend our meetings of the committee, which we're going to start meeting every 2 weeks, beginning of November. This is a very important project to raise the equitable distribution of facilities among the 4 schools. It's very important for our children and our grandchildren. So please become informed, and hopefully the referendum passes come March.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Stenick. Was that it?
I think that's it.
Okay. Number 10, Ordinance Commission, discussion and possible action, authorizing the use of an automatic traffic safety enforcement device, traffic enforcement safety device. In your packet, you have the ordinance authorizing the use of an automatic traffic enforcement safety device given to us by the Chief of Police, John Buccarati. This was already in the police commissioners have okayed it, and they forwarded it to the Board of Selectmen. And as you know, the Board of Selectmen have to forward it on to the Ordinance Committee. The Ordinance Committee will meet November 6th at, I think, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock on November 6th. I will not be here. Trish will not be here, so please look it over. We cannot actually make any changes to this. So it's really just gonna go to the ordinance committee. The ordinance committee has to okay it, and then the ordinance committee has to give it back to the Board of Selectmen at the 6th meeting, and then we have to post it for 30 days, because this is a, Chief McGrath, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a state statute, correct? Or-
Yeah, so just real brief history, the state legislature allowed us to allow towns to implement their own fines and ordinances for traffic violations such as speeding and red light. So with that, they authorized the use of these automated systems. We've been researching different companies, how to do this, and by the town establishing their own ordinance, we can take enforcement action. The advances in the technology and the cameras are amazing, and what these things can grab. And we're just looking to start the process with the ordinance, and then we can evaluate where we're going to put them and where they're the most needed. There's strict criteria for them to be used. We have to actually submit a plan to the state. The state has to okay that plan, and then we can come back. And there has to be supporting data for their installation. We can't just throw one up on somebody's street and throw cameras up there just because they say they're speeding. There has to be significant traffic studies, data, we have to go over crashes, that sort of history, and we can then implement them. So
there's a lot of background work that has to happen before you even put.
Yeah, this is
up.
really the first step.
Okay.
This is really the first step. Many other municipalities are also considering this and looking to do the same thing. And the
So-
difference being that if we write a ticket for, say, speeding, that money goes to the state. This, and this is not a money grab. I want to make that clear to the board that this is not we're not looking to soak anybody
some
or to
for
make
some
money.
trucks
This is
anyways.
look to, well, yeah, whatever you want to. But no, we're looking to put these in to solve traffic problems. Where I think that's one of the most common complaints that I get: speeding, traffic, red light, those sort of issues. That's what this is for.
The fines can be used to pay for the equipment.
It's one of the companies we have. It's a cost neutral thing. It doesn't cost us anything.
Wonderful.
So
Do you have to do all the handling, or does it send the ticket directly? Do they
it's
manage
all
all
done
that?
online,
It's all
and
automated,
it's all
right?
managed by most of the companies now that do it.
Right.
And it's really we have to review every one.
Correct.
So
Yeah, but the process.
Every single ticket that would be issued either by a speeding or a red light camera would come to the police department first. We would have to look at it. It's hard to say, it'll give us the plate. It'll give us, because sometimes people buy new cars. It's a new plate, and they have to have an appeal process as well. So it's nothing, we can't just sit there and click and send it out. We have to review each one.
I was going to say, will this kick up the appeal process? I'm assuming.
Yes, but we'll have something in place for that.
Okay.
We'll handle that internally.
And if I could, when this goes to the ordinance committee, if they could just take a look at page 3, okay, down the bottom of the page. Okay, it says the town of Stratford, so if we could correct that, I'd be happy.
We'll go through and have the names changed, especially when it comes into our, when we go to put it out for public comment for 30 days,
We don't want the fines going to Stratford.
No,
not.
we'll pass on that.
right?
My grandchildren.
So, but yes, so can I have a motion to move this to the ordinance committee, please?
So moved.
Motion by Pat.
Second.
Second by Bob Finley, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. In your other packet, you have Article 7, which is the anti-blight policy.
We'll make sure we take Stratford out of that one too.
Yeah, even though this was a Seymour anti-blight policy, but absolutely. This is being moved to the ordinance committee. The land use and the blight department went through it and they made some much needed legal updates to it for processes. So if I can have a motion to move this to the ordinance committee so they can review and send back to us.
Is what they, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Or is that during comments? I'll make a motion to move the
you.
anti-blight policy to,
Motion by Trish.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Second by Bob Finley. Now we go into discussion.
Is the only change they made the one highlighted item? Or
That's the
have
main
they-
thing, that's one of the main
That's the
things they're looking
primary.
at, but they're gonna come and
They're gonna-
present to the ordinance
Yes.
committee.
Okay.
All right, I will, we can move the anti-blight one to another meeting in November, Trish, because I know you want to be there for that. It's okay.
I'm sorry, I did swear. My microphone's on.
Can we move this to the ordinance committee? Motion?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Can I have a motion to add to the agenda discussion and possible action regarding the violation of the blight ordinance for 54 Third Avenue? In your packet, you will see a citation from the blight officer issuing a violation dating back to October 2023. The property was cleaned up a few months back and is being sold. The closing is this week, and they wish to reduce the fine to $16,500. And we need the board's approval on this matter to move this along. Specifically, section 4-151, small c, 4, the blight ordinance states that the Board of Selectmen persons need to act to reduce the amount. Thank you, Rich Bertula, for that information. Wait, are we adding
So
to the
this
agenda?
was added to the agenda.
Well,
I make, hold on,
Yeah, you have
make
to
a
add it.
motion to add it to the, add
Yeah.
the 54 Third blight issue to the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Bob Finley, discussion.
I just want to point out the rush in terms of putting this on the agenda is that there is a buyer and there's a closing that is imminent. So we're trying to move this along and to help the process.
Okay. So all in favor, aye.
All in favor?
Well, do we have to, the motion was just to add it to the agenda. Now we have
Yes,
to make a
now we're
motion.
gonna discuss it.
Now we need to discuss.
Motion to reduce the blight fine to the sum of $16,500.
I'll make a motion to reduce the blight fine to $16,500 for 54 Third Avenue, Seymour, Connecticut.
So moved.
Oh, 1 second, I'm hearing from our clerk that there was no vote taken on the adding of that to the agenda.
Yes,
Yes,
there
it
was.
Yes, there was, it was 5-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we have a motion and a second to reduce it now.
Yeah,
If I may, the reduced sum, how was that number arrived at? Or is that what seller needs to make the transaction work?
A little of that, and it was also, it was a recalculation of the original lien. They recalculated the fine back to the date it was substantially resolved. This was a grass complaint.
Okay.
So it was the blight officers, and I say officers because it started under Mike Margansky, and we have the new gentleman who's the blight
John
officer.
McKenzie.
Thank you.
welcome.
Are in agreement. It was recalculated back to June 11th when the grass situation was rectified.
Rectified.
So they felt it was a fair resolution, and it will also help make the transaction happen.
So the new owners will cut the grass.
We hope.
Maintain it, yeah.
I hope so.
Well, that was my question because I've personally received a number of complaints. And I want to make sure that those fines will remedy anything that's remaining.
Yes.
Okay.
All
I'll
in
make a
favor?
motion to approve.
Okay. Motion by Trish.
To approve what?
I made the motion.
Oh,
for-
motion by
Oh,
Bob.
okay.
Motion and a
sorry.
second.
Second,
Any
all in
discussion,
favor?
please?
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. My goodness. Okay. Motion, I need a motion to go into executive session pursuant to section 1-206 of the Connecticut General Statute to discuss a document protected from disclosure under 1-210 of the Connecticut General Statute, inviting into executive session Attorney Rich Bertula, Kurt Miller, Finance Director Jason Vieira, Chief John Buccarati, Deputy Chief Mike Fapiani, Attorney Floyd Dugas, Superintendent Susan Compton, Board of Education Chair Chris Champagne.
So moved.
So,
I need a
Point of
motion.
order, we need to add to the agenda.
yeah,
I need
we
to
have
add
to
to
add it.
your agenda. I need a motion to add to
Okay, we'll
agenda.
add to the agenda executive session pursuant.
All that.
Motion to add to the agenda executive session pursuant to section 1-206 of the Connecticut General Statutes to discuss a document protected from disclosure under 1-21010 of the Connecticut General Statutes, inviting into executive session Attorney Rich Paterla, Kurt Miller, Finance Director, Jason Vieira, Chief John Bucciarati, Attorney Floyd Dugas, Superintendent Susan Compton, and Board of Education Chair Chris Champagne,
And Deputy Chief
and
Fabian.
Deputy Chief Fabiano.
Motion by Trish, second by Pat Lombardi. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0.
You just said it like 3 times.
Make a motion now to go into executive session pursuant to section 1-206 of the Connecticut General Statutes to discuss a document protected from disclosure under 1-21010 of the Connecticut General Statutes. Do I have to invite these people again? Yes. Inviting into executive session Mr. Fabiani. The one that's, sorry.
Chief
Attorney Rich
Bucciarati.
Paterla, Kurt Miller, Finance Director, Jason Vieira, Chief John Bucciarati, Attorney Floyd Dugas, Superintendent Susan Compton, and Board of Education Chair Chris Champagne.
And you said Fabiano.
Mr. Fabiano.
Deputy Chief Fabiano. Okay.
Getting hammered.
Motion by Trish, second
Second.
by
Me, Bob.
Bob Finley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 5-0. Enter into executive session at 8:04 PM.
6.
Motion by Selectman Lombardi,
Second.
And for the record, no votes or actions were taken during executive.
second was Bob Finley. Welcome. Okay. Thank you. Tax refunds and abatements.
Point of order,
Appointments.
there should be a vote.
A vote.
A motion was made.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstains, abstention?
I abstain.
You abstain.
I abstain.
401, please note
Thank you.
Selectman Stanik's abstention.
We have this humorous disagreement.
We do. That's why we remain friends.
Great. Tax abatements and refunds are in your packet. Please look to make sure there are no.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Trish,
Seconded.
second by Pat Lombardi. Discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion by Trish, second by Pat Lombardi.
My question is, did we skip over appointments?
There isn't any.
There are no appointments.
Or none.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Good catch.
Correspondences, in your packet, we received a letter from a resident, Prudence Hayden.
Very nice letter.
Attaboy, Rob.
Attaboy for Rob Falbo at the transfer station. I wanted you all to see that. And to the awards committee, a letter, a card from Mr. Haynes, thanking you guys very much for choosing me for the Frank and Conroy Community Service Award. I'm reading his letter. It says, Anne Marie Dragonis, first selectwoman, town of Seymour, all members of the board of select persons. Thank you very much for choosing me for the Frank and Ann Conroy Community Service Award. I am lost for words, but I am sincerely thank you. Frank Haynes. Here's the card for you guys to look at. That is it for correspondences. Public comment. Oh, look, there's no one from the public here. Public comment. Go ahead, Kurt Miller. No public comment. Select person's comments. We will go with Pat Lombardi first.
I'm good, Madam First Selectwoman, thank you.
Thank you. Bob.
I'm good.
Trish.
I'm good this evening, thank you.
I'd like to discuss at some point set aside fund for the field and the track at the high school. We've talked about this, and the Board of Ed, to its credit tonight, did vote to return $152,000 surplus to the town.
Very nice.
So I don't know if that money is being discussed to be set aside for refurbishing of the track and the field in the future, but I think that might be a place where it could go.
Kurt, I'll let you take this one.
We need, probably in 5 years, there's going to be a substantial expense based upon the letter from Insurance Development, and I think we should start working on a fund.
Through you,
Put
Ma-
some money aside in the
oh,
past.
sorry, Mr. Chairman, may I cut you off?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Through you, Madam First Selectwoman. Yes, we have $250,000 designated in the fund balance currently. The plan is to recommend to the Board of Finance to take that $152,000 and designate it as well, putting us up to about $400,000. Based on the work that Sean Stramello has done, we have realistically 3 to 4 more years of useful life of the field, assuming we follow the maintenance plan. We actually have a meeting tomorrow to review the different options. So we have a bunch of quotes and estimates about keeping the field as it is, and we also have we've got some quotes and estimates about returning it back to grass. So just so we have some options and some things to discuss. Not saying that we're going back to grass by any means, but just in case that comes up, we wanted to make sure that we kind of crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's. There's no money currently for the track as it stands, but we're estimating about $750,000 is what we'll need for the turf itself.
Well, I think this is a start, the 250 plus the 152, and we should talk about putting some money aside the next few years, each year.
Yes, it's, I believe it's built into the capital improvement plan
It is.
as well.
We talked about this 10 years ago, never happened, just started, so it's good that it's happening.
And that will continue for the next time as well, correct? I would hope.
Correct.
Can't be just a one plan and done. Okay,
Yeah, no, correct.
Thank you.
I think it's part of the strategic plan.
Yes, that's why I brought that up. Thank you.
Oh, and just along those lines, we're finishing the strategic plan, putting the final touches on it. It'll be unveiled, at least just in general terms, at the state of the town. I would expect the strategic plan to be in front of this board for final blessing in December.
I did want to say one thing I did forget. I wanted to congratulate Anna Marie Dragonis for the award at the Seymour Pink event. That was a very nice award that they gave, and
Could you tell us about it? I'm not aware of it.
No, I can. Because I was still in shock.
you
So,
were.
I'm
She
still
was
in shock.
videotaping. I was standing next to her, and she was videotaping the event, and and then she got her name called. So it was a very smooth transition to my hand, where she went up and won her award.
I
Very
got
nice.
the Seymour Pink Community Spirit Award for. I look at it as just doing my job.
Communication and people awareness, and it was a very nice award. And what
It was very nice. I'm still kind of in shock about receiving it, but I was thanked by Seymour Pink for getting out there, letting people know when the races are, what's going on with Seymour Pink, the pasta dinners, the awareness banquet that they have, and to me, I didn't think I was doing anything but doing my job as the first select person and getting the word out there. As Mary Deming said, it wasn't political because they're a 501c3, but it was just because of what I do as a person. But I didn't think I did anything special.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Got it. I'm all like it. So, is that all you had, Fred?
I think so, yes.
So speaking of Seymour Pink, we had the Seymour Pink Day. Great turnout. It took 9 minutes for everybody to clear the start line. So that was one of the biggest races they've ever had. There were so many people there. Very emotional as it is every year, seeing the survivors, seeing those still fighting, and remembering those that have fought and continue to fight that battle every day. So that was great. And then I have a roads update, the Pungy Botsford Road. The bid is on the DAS and the town website. The bid will be awarded in December, January timeframe. Hopefully they'll be able to do some work over the winter time. If it's a mild winter, hopefully, knock on wood. It will take about 18 months for the process from start to finish. So remember, November, December, so a year and a half. So Bungie Road, Botsford Road, West Church Street will still be bumpy for another 18 months. We are working with Aquarian to come in and have them fix the patches and smooth everything out. We know it's bumpy. If it's going to ruin a suspension, it's going to ruin everybody's suspension. But as long as you go down that road, it's smooth and slow.
Snow plowing too.
And snow plowing, it's going to affect. So trust us, there's nobody that wants that road done any faster than the town. The walk light at the corner of Maple and Pearl was being replaced this morning. That was a light that was taking out in front of Thai Dish. I've received some questions regarding the striping of the road, especially Bungie. Why are we striping a road we're going to tear up? Well, it's very simple, as you have to have the stripes going down the road per the manual uniform traffic control devices, especially when there are people traveling up and down the road and people have gone out onto Facebook that says, oh yeah, I go into the other side of the road. The double line is there to ensure people stay in their lane and to help the police department when and if should there be an accident, who is at fault. Route 67 spot improvement is being held up by the soil wall. They started working on the wall this week, and it should take about 3 to 4 weeks. Then they will work on the slip wall, which is above at Walgreens, and that will take another 3 to 4 weeks. And we are told, and do not shoot the messenger, Martha Lane will not be open until January. Martha Street will not be open until January. not Martha Lane, Martha Street. Don't shoot the messenger. It is a state project, and we are on it. We are continually on them every day. The brick wall in front of the police department, the brick is falling off. We're looking at taking the brick wall down. The brick wall is just a facade on top of the cement wall. So as the brick's coming down, it's really not meaning the wall is falling down. There is still a cement wall there. So we're looking at getting that replaced. Tomorrow is the Bungay Elementary Building Committee. They will present on the renovation of the Bungay School. We hope everybody is able to get there and see. There's going to be a tour of the school at 6 o'clock. The presentation will be at 6:30. And there's also a meeting at the middle school at 6 o'clock for those that were affected by the flood. FEMA and SBA will be there to answer those questions and help those residents with their loans. I will have to split myself in two to be at both places. Early voting begins October 21st, and I bring it up now because this is our last meeting in October after the election. Early voting begins October 21st, and it goes until October 31st and November 1st to 3rd. Voting takes place at Town Hall from 10 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m., except for October 29th and the 31st. Voting will occur 8 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. There is now a kiosk at Town Hall for residents who do not want to wait in line at the tax collector's office. They can go to the kiosk and they can pay online with a credit card in Town Hall at a separate kiosk, and you'll have to deal with the tax office if you don't choose to. October 26th is the downtown trick-or-treating. The event starts at 1 o'clock with a parade downtown. Start sharply stepping off at 1 o'clock. The event ends at 3 o'clock. The event is rain or shine. Trunk or treat event is the same night, the 26th. Gates open at 3 and close promptly at 5:45. The trick-or-treating starts at 6. The trunk-or-treating starts at 6 and ends at 8. If it rains on the 26th, then the event is on the 27th. Same time, same rules. That is it for all I have.
And if you go to trunk or treat, you'll see what Amarie looks like 25 years from now
25 years.
with her gray hair.
With my gray hair. Yeah, I don't have to color my hair now. I know it's turning gray.
Not gonna touch that one.
Actually,
right.
she looks good in the wig.
Thank you, Fred. Thanks, Fred. And it's also, the 26th is also the Sports Hall of Fame. If you haven't gotten your tickets, please call Paul Roy because he needs to get in the food order for them. He needs to get an account. That is all I have. I hope everybody has a good night. And with that, I adjourn the meeting. Thank you.